Hello, I'm Grandmaster Dennis Bibbins, the founder of Komushin Ryu Jiu-Jitsu and also the founder of FightBack with Mushin. On today's episode, episode 12, we'll be seeing some techniques, mainly Nikyo and Ikkyo, which are wrist techniques. On this episode also, you'll be seeing some other types of techniques, throwing, ukemis, which are break falls, etc. Anything to help keep a person from injuring themselves when they get thrown, especially with jiu-jitsu techniques. With all that said, let's get started. Here we have James going through ukemis, which is break falls or different ways of falling to prevent injury. That was a front roll. There's a free ukemi. Another free ukemi, which essentially is a front flip. Here we have James and Byrne going through a few techniques. The first one will be a compression strike. The two strikes to the head would be one to the jaw and one to the temple area.
I think he just had some good momentum going to the ground.
The takedown and a submission. Nicely done. There's the takedown, head flip with the leg, arm bar, flip over, arm bar again.
Very nice. Ones from opposite sides.
These techniques are done mainly in the dojo. For street purposes, they're done with a lot more force. Very effective technique, very nice technique. This is a Sankyo technique, which is a hand twist toward the person's body. You pull them, switch hands, and throw. Another very effective technique. Here we have myself and Vern showing a Nikyo and an Ikkyo, which are different hand techniques. Very painful. And finish with a throw. Same technique, Nikyo. And the throw. Coming up is an Ikkyo technique, which is the same side hand grip. Same side. Finishing technique is the throw. Very nicely done. This is from the opposite side, same technique, and the throw. Okay, here I'm explaining the techniques used in ukemi, different break falls. Again, this is the front roll, back roll, face fall, side fall from both sides. Now we have the standing version of the side fall. Especially with jiu-jitsu techniques, you definitely have to learn how to fall properly to prevent injury. Very nicely done by Byrne. Here's myself and Byrne. We're going to be showing the 1, 2, 3. And it's self-explanatory. Wrist lock on the ground. This technique is kind of hysterical. Here's Vern and a black belt from the dojo, Mr. Figueroa. He's traditionally a karate guy, but we're learning to show him, we're teaching him some jiu-jitsu techniques. This is the 1, 2, 3 with the head wrap, takedown, and wrist lock on the ground again. Being new to the technique, Mr. Figueroa, the black belt, is not familiar with these techniques, but he is a pretty good opponent. No reaction until Vern applies the wrist lock properly, and you can see his reaction. This is the Nikio technique again with a push away and a kick. Again, these techniques are primarily being shown for dojo use or uses in the school. In the street, situation would be a lot different. Here we have the 1, 2, 3 with Vern and Troy. And here we have the same technique with Vern and his son, Charles. Nicely done. Here's myself and Vern doing the same technique, but unfortunately some of the students were not paying attention, so we called their attention to it. And here we go, 1, 2, 3. Self-explanatory again. Coming up, this is the compression strike technique. With the parry double strike to the face, one to the temple, the other to the jaw. This technique is self-explanatory. By the way, Kodon Sensei is a 10th degree black belt. That's what the red belt represents. The brown belt here, Vern, is very proficient as a brown belt. He has since been promoted to black belt. That's Vern and his son Charles showing Irimi Nagi, an entering technique. Coming up is myself and Vern showing the Irimi Nagi, called an entering technique. Made famous by the famous martial artist Steven Seagal, an Aikido expert. There's one arm going across the throat, the other going to the small of the back. Here we have Vern and Troy. Troy traditionally was a judo guy who decided to take some jiu-jitsu lessons. One block, two block. Notice the arm across the back, at the small of the back, causing the opponent to bend to help with the takedown because of the other arm going across the throat. Troy has a little trouble with this particular technique, but he gets it eventually. One block. Wrong step. Slows the step with the right leg to add momentum to the final strike, affecting the takedown. But he gets it, like I said. Eventually. Not yet, but it's coming. We do these techniques slow at first. And once it's learned, we gradually add speed to the technique. What you're seeing are slow versions. Here we have Grandmaster Cordon showing some basic weapons that you wouldn't think would be a weapon. Self-explanatory. There's a straw and some newspaper. This is very interesting. By the way, this is a straw he's using, a plastic straw. To show the effectiveness of this particular tool, watch what he does with it. That's a potato, by the way.
Look how much I went through. That's all. That's almost 2 inches. Almost looked through that sucker, but skin is even less than this. So when you attack, you take the straw out, and then have you all come up, take your own potato, and then bring it to read them and where they work and everything. Right?
This next weapon, believe it or not, is made from newspaper. Watch what Grandmaster does with the newspaper. Again, this is all about self-defense, folks.
Tape around this. Always have one.
To show you the effectiveness of this particular weapon, he has a couple of individuals make one out of newspaper, rolling it up, bending it in half. Very effective weapon. Striking the boards is akin to striking a person's arm, head, leg, whatever. There you go. Very effective. As with most of these techniques, once they're practiced, they become very effective. Maybe not the first time, but with practice, that's your result. Here we have Vern and Charles, father and son. Again, with the Nikio, this particular one is Ikio, same side hand grab, if you're grabbed. It can be either at the wrist, at the collar. This one's the wrist lock there, arm bend. This is called a gooseneck head throw.
Show me a Rimanage.
You don't need time with the techniques, okay? Let them know that.
I'm in charge of the techniques.
Yurini Nagi. This particular technique was developed
That's a heavy technique.
by us. It's a lot more to it than what it looks like. 2 arm breaks, shot to the ribs. This one here, this technique here, shows you the elbow to the rib. Head slap. It's actually an ear slap. There's the rib shot. And the double arm break. There's 1, One break. And there's the second break. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll be tuned in for our next episode, episode 13 of Fight Back. Until then, this is Grandmaster Dennis Bibbins saying good night and train smart.